Basil mentioned about demographics. Well, them are the graphics. And I should point out the brilliant team at TNT. We always forget to mention this because we have these wonderful green screens. But the graphics today, you can probably recognize those are Keir Starmer's eyes and 1984 beneath that as well. And it's obviously Starmer, as we warned beforehand, about Starmageddon. So congratulations to CJ, Cam, Mike and Jenny. Brilliant stuff as always. We love it. But to your point, I think the point is this, is that if we go back to what people said was the catalyst, was the horrendous murder of three little girls. BB King, who was 6, Elsie Dot Stankham, who was 7, and Alice de Silva Aguirre, who was 9. And you might remember it happened at Southport. It was at the Hart Space Centre during what was a Taylor Swift dance party, effectively dance class. And what happened is a particular channel, channel 3 now, which I've mentioned on this show, and I've got Jeremy trying to track them down so they can come on and explain themselves. They put out some false information, misinformation, saying that it was a particular Islamic chap. They even named him wrongly, and that caused all sorts of problems, which has forced effectively the person who was actually arrested and charged, Axel Rudakubana, who's a Welsh native. He lives in Banks, Lancashire, has been charged with 3 counts of murder now, 10 counts of attempted murder, and 1 count of possessing an offensive weapon. He actually was born in Cardiff. You know, his parents came from Rwanda in 2002 in search of a better life. But his mother is basically a stay-at-home mother. His father's a taxi driver. And they were described as nice and normal. But it was about this misinformation that was spread by Channel 3 now. And I checked on their website beforehand, the Twitter page, and they've still only got 3,423 followers, one of which is me, because I want to see what they're up to. And they're only following 22 people. What happened? It's wrong. The anti-immigration riots, as they've been called, was sparked by this wave of disinformation by Channel 3 now. It has absolutely nothing to do with the murder of 3 little girls, to why people go in and loot and steal television sets and so on and so forth is absolutely abhorrent. And even the families and the various funerals are taking place over the last few days, and there'll be more expressions of grief. It is abhorrent that people have hijacked the grief and the tragedy and the absolutely appalling circumstances regarding the murder of these 3 little girls to effectively go around looting. So in answer to your question, there are certain situations, there are legitimate concerns about immigration. And we spoke about Elon Musk and his conversation with Trump yesterday. And basically what they were saying, look, immigration is front and center. Trump was proudly saying, look, under him, the immigration figures were coming down. He was going to build this wonderful wall. He was still building it. Those are still his plans. But he needs to get it under control. And he needs to say, well, legal migration is fine. We need to work at what's happening on that sort of basis. But people have legitimate concerns, and those concerns need to be addressed. But in amongst all of that, there are thugs, absolute thugs, who are hijacking people's grief, hijacking legitimate causes to effectively inflict all sorts of violence and disruption. And that is wrong.